right. Let me just briefly, for 2 minutes, for the younger audience who were joined late, take you back 80, 85 years back. What was the situation that time? And just put yourself in the position of being a young administrative officer that time in country. So India is divided into 30% today, sir has mentioned, 30% in the princely states and 60% of those British Indian parts. There is a whole range of issues. All over the world is changing to the new global order where USSR is emerging a new threat. World War II has finished, and a whole lot of Indian issues, starting from unemployment to economic backwardness, 80% land with 20% of people, and biggest challenge that time was the communal issue, apart from those princely state unification. And today, you have constitutional and institutional framework to deal with any issue which is related here. That was the time there was nothing. It was under production or under consideration by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Sahab and his team. So there was nothing. There was no institutional framework under which anyone can work. And that was the time when and country was oscillating between the Jawaharlal Nehru's kind of politics, which was, no offense, but it was idealistic, and a real politic of Sardar Patel type of politics. And that was the time when Gandhiji suggested that to deal with this mess, let me call Sardar Patel. Now, go back to Sardar Patel. Why Sardar Patel? मैं थोड़ी टाइम के लिए आपको खेड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेके जाता हूं, जो कि गुजरात का एक छोटा सा डिस्ट्रिक्ट था, वेरी रिमोट, फ्रॉम वेयर जब आप इस एक कदावर लीडर को देखते हैं whose status is much higher than the Statue of Unity, once you realize, जब आप उनको देखते हैं जब खेतों में किसानों के साथ बैठा हुआ है, तो he is like a kisan. Once he is dealing with the British officer, he is a barrister. His communication skills are way beyond, and it's outstanding. The clarity of his vision, his thought, I'm yet to find a leader who's parallel in the history, correct me sir if I'm wrong, who was so clear in his vision, and that's why probably the Gandhiji chose him. And again, look at his personal characteristics. There was nothing who could which no event can disturb him. We saw yesterday how he dealt with the sad news of demise of his wife once he was dealing in the court. We also saw how 15, that time, Congress assembly or Congress committees, 12 of 15 selected him as a leader, and he was short to become first Prime Minister of India. And Mahatma Gandhi said, no, you step down, let Jawaharlal Nehru take over. And he very politely, he accepted that. So, he was the leader, truly, if I can relate him today, the Chanakya of modern day India. And Chanakya, with selfless leadership, he is the only example, probably, I may be incorrect in case I'm missing someone, he's the one. So why this man is so important today? After even 80 years, we are studying him, and we are finding some relevance in today's chapter. Why his legacy matters today? His legacy matters because he is the one who offers a unique combination. Just 3 to 4 points. One is the country first. Your 99% problems today will get resolved if you have this is the guiding principle of Sardar Patel, country first. Everything falls in place. Second, what a true diplomat he is. Truly going back to the history, Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed, Maya, Chal, everything. History books are full of examples how he used all to unite those princely states. Also, what Sir has shown one very important line, Khare Sir, national interest over idealism. He's the one who challenged idealism. He said, no, let be grounded. There is no place for idealism in that era. That time, once we have seen the range of the troubles which country was facing. and finally his nationalist vision with so much of clarity. I am yet to find one example in history where he had to go back to the table and revert his direction or whatever he has passed. So once decided, he'll go all out. He'll go hell for the leather to achieve that. Now, if I have to summarize his core vision into just 5 parts, which is relevant today, how we are going to translate, set the stage for this discussion. One is that he always advocated, he saw that how India is divided into various princely states. He thought that a center, a very, very strong center, should be the focal point with a reasonable amount of autonomy to the states. And that is the launch pad or the core bottom line for the entire our democratic fabric today. That we have already seen the Patel's bureaucratic vision once he reformed the IAS. We'll see what he did. Governance with a spine. What Basu sir, sir, if I may answer this question of Lakshadweep, you asked one question, sir, during discussion, that how Sardar Patel vision helped us in sea lines of securing our sea lines of communication. I'll cite just one quick example for the audience. Lakshadweep is 220 kilometers west of our Kerala coast, and there are 35, 36 islands, group of islands, starting from north to south, and in between the Lakshadweep islands, around Minikoy, which is the capital, sea routes of communication akin to our national highway is, we call it Channel 9. Channel 9 passes through in between, sir, which holds strategic lines of communication for entire Pakistan from this side. Also, if you remember last year, once our Honorable Prime Minister visited Lakshadweep, Maldives was very, very uncomfortable, just because there is also a Channel 8 which moves in between the Lakshadweep and the Maldives. And these two, Channel 8 and Channel 9, holds key to the entire sea of lines of communication in this area. Just imagine, he realized once the princely states were getting united, he got the input that Pakistani army and Pakistani navy, they are planning to capture Lakshadweep Islands. And he immediately, without consulting anyone, ordered Indian Navy to go mobilize, capture. And that time, Pakistan had very obvious claim on Lakshadweep Islands because 99% of the population were Muslim population. And given the scenario, it was bound to go back to Pakistan. But timely action with the spine, upright posturing, timing by Sardar Patel enabled, we captured Lakshadweep Islands. And by the time Pakistani reached there, Indian flag was already hosting there. And that's how we managed that. The country first, and lastly, sir, even last year, I remember Honorable Jaishankar, Dr. Jaishankar, our Minister for Foreign Affairs, he's giving statement officially that our core vision for entire foreign policy is guided by the Patel's vision. We'll see how. And if you recollect, this term has again resurfaced, Chindia first. In Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's time, once he raised this China first and India second, today it has been questioned and has been reverted as India first policy. So, can we reimagine Patel's contribution in today's world? We are going to deal strictly with foreign affairs, those pillars of democracy, and also the internal security. I'm going to deal mainly for the internal security and foreign affairs, how he contributed. We have discussed enough. This is a debatable issue of how much the center should control, how much the state should control. However, if you look at the thought process of Sardar Patel that time, he always wanted that those core issues like defense, security, foreign affairs, finances should be dealt by the center, and welfare-related measures should be dealt by the states, like housing projects, road infrastructure, etc. But we realized, if you recollect 26/11 when Mumbai was attacked, that was the time there is a gray area. Till that time, the terrorism part was not clearly defined, and there was a overmatching or overlapping responsibility between state and center. And that's what did that center will blame state, state will blame center, and likewise all other 200 plus intelligence agencies in India, they will blame each other. So somebody has given a thought and realized this is the place where the scope exists, and I'll request the academicians to go into the further research part, that how much is too much, and I leave it on that. But remember what he said, that we'll not have a united India if you don't have a strong center. We require strong center, especially for the policies related to security matters. Now, sir again asked a very, very pertinent question. Everyone is aware that Sardar Patel is the founding father of the administrative services. What has happened? What has changed? I remember one of the incident when it was probably Sardar Patel's first interaction with a civil bureaucrat in Ahmedabad. And that was the time he realized that India cannot function without a strong, political bureaucratic setup. And probably that is the time when he decided what does he want. And that got translated. I remember once he was addressing the first set of bureaucrats in 1947, he gave a quote. And sir, that can answer that question, what has changed? What has changed from the erstwhile civil administrative setup? He said that, remember, gentlemen, your predecessors were rulers. You are going to be the servants. And servant of not any leader, not any political party, not any government, but you are going to be servants of the common people of India. That, ladies and gentlemen, if you recollect today, what a beautiful line and what a beautiful thought process Sardar Patel must have had that time, that changed the mindset, psyche of it given a people-oriented mindset of the bureaucracy. Today, if you look at the bureaucracy, scope exists. What Sardar Patel wanted them to be apolitical, competent and upright. And today the mission Karma Yogi, which is the present government agenda point to refine this service structure, they are going for the rule-based to the role-based role for the civil bureaucracy. Also, sir, I'll give one example. This service, what Sardar Patel has envisioned and what is today running the entire country, all said and done, is the only example in the world. There is no parallel example which can be given. And what a democratic setup he suggested. 2/3 of all bureaucratic appointments, IAS, IPS, in a particular state will come from other states. So you'll find a person who is coming from Chennai is managing a district in Leh Ladakh. A person of Maharashtra is going and commanding a district in Bihar. So that kind of setup and that kind of democratic coordination, federation he expected. And this is the only place where the bureaucracy is being selected by the center, trained by the center, and being placed by center to the states. So this is one of the healthiest structure which we have, which should be utilizing and capitalizing on that, so that the regional aspirations are also met and the federal aspirations are also met at the same time. With respect to his thought process, government or governance with a spine, we have seen how government has taken the firm stand with respect to 370, the Balakot and various surgical strike, and I'm 100% sure the way we have seen the government today or yesterday, there is something more to offer. Soon we'll hear the good news. The remarkable part which the present government has done, or the set of government, I'm not just discussing about this government, carrying forward the vision of Sardar Patel is infrastructure development towards the border. If you recollect what the previous speaker had mentioned, that Sardar Patel wrote a letter of Chinese aggression, and he suggested that we should develop the border area infrastructure. And this is the time when you must have seen the development. It also changing the mindset. You remember first day, Mana village in Uttaranchal is always referred as the last village of India, last village of the India. But now it has been renamed as the first village of India after Prime Minister moved to that place. This set the inclusive mindset of, no, this is my first village. Likewise in Arunachal, in other places of northeast and bordering Nepal, this is happening. And his vision, take the path of duty, everything will fall in place. Now, the most key issue, probably this is the second important part is internal security. We have seen the range of the troubles which country was facing that time. Now, every new threat require a new approach. That time, terrorism, cyber threats, these things were not in order. There was no, a requirement for looking from that point of view. Only issue was the communal tension. And I'll quote one of the example. Once it was before his death, it was the last act which he presented in the parliamentary committee. That was Preventive Detention Act 1950, which successive government carried on till next 19 years, just to deal with the communal issues and kind of the misinformation which was prevalent at that time. That was the time, ladies and gentlemen, and if I can quote Sardar Patel's statement, he said, I couldn't sleep for more than 7-8 nights to form this law. And he himself was so well aware of the ground realities, how this act is going to be acted upon. Till the time it reached to its pinnacle and the misuse, any act will be subjected to misuse after some time. Of course, that's why in legal terms they call it sunset years. So after the sunset year of 69, then the whole lot of SPA and National Security Act, TADA, POTA till 2004. POTA was repealed and Unlawful Preventive Activity Prevention Act came. What I wanted to highlight here, sir, I'm from the defense background. You'll be surprised if I tell you there was no provision in India to declare a person as a terrorist till the UAPA Act 2019 was implemented. This was the first time. So what was the implication? Implication was a set of people will make a terrorist organization. There was a provision to declare an organization as a terrorist organization. However, the moment the government used to declare that organization as terrorist organization, like SIMI, they will change the name of the organization. The entire hierarchy will shift to some other place. So that was a detrimental factor for national security. And thankfully, government has taken a call. And now, as part of Unlawful Activity Prevention Act 2019, you can declare a person a terrorist. Now, if I can draw his vision today, every attack on unity of India, remember, unity of India, he never said on a particular state, that mindset that earlier, if the senior people who are sitting can recollect, earlier we used to call Mumbai has been attacked by terrorists, Jaipur has been attacked by terrorists. There was nowhere mention that the country has been attacked. Now probably the mindset is changing and it should change. Any attack in the country is the attack. Any attack on any state, any place, any community is attack on the country. And that should be the inspiring lines. One more important issue, what Sardar Patel envisioned that time, which is again matter of academic interest, sir, and we must have some kind of more research on this, is the misinformation. Sir, today with a plethora of information available on the click, we have all the details happening in Kashmir. Today at the click it is available what I can see. That was the time where the news used to spread through rumors and also through newspapers. I remember two incidents, sir, where he identified the ill effect or ill impact of misinformation. Today, trust me, if you ask me from security point of view, I'll say that the misinformation today is the bigger threat than the terrorism. Because terrorists, you know who is the terrorist. That what sir suggested, that Shatru Bodh, we know Shatru, who is our Shatru. But we don't know who is our Shatru in case of misinformation. Inadvertently, we all are Shatru in that. Once we forward any misinformation to a group and we cause the damage. You remember during COVID times how the North Indians mass exodus took place in Mumbai and a lot of killings took place. You remember how one shot of misinformation in Bangalore resulted into deaths of number of Assamese students. You remember those incidents in other places of the country. I'll not get into that. But this threat was envisioned by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that time. And two incidents I'll quote. One is the Delhi riots during the transition period of the movement between India to Pakistan. And that time, he not only stopped that misinformation, which was published in a newspaper, but he also ensured that this newspaper is banned throughout. Also, once our Mahatma Gandhi was killed, that was the time then there was a misinformation campaign for the Ajmer, for the, I don't recollect his name, but probably that Nizam of, I can't be saying Nizam, but the Prince of Ajmer, he was the one. People started looking for him to kill him because his name was also involved in the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. And that was the time he understood. He sent his police and got him Nazarban. He got him back and placed him in the secure place. This is the thing which today I think that cyber threats, misinformation and terrorism act together, which is detrimental for our internal security. And to deal with this, all these issues, I remember his only quote that do deal with them with strength and with clarity. My last point is, we have discussed enough of the foreign policy, how he shaped that or assisted in shaping that. But just imagine a time once China was militarily interfering into Tibet, and that time Tibet was the buffer state between India and China. He was the only one who envisaged that this is not just internal situation happening or internal development happening in China. He said this is Beijing's much more expansionist agenda, which we should be worried about. And I think 1 month before his death, Sardar Patel wrote it to Jawaharlal Nehru, and the essence is, he said that we must develop our border infrastructure, including in Nepal and Sikkim areas, so that we are not surprised, caught by surprise, exactly. And unfortunately, this vision was denied by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and he said it is unusual suspicion. Just last example, sir, if I can quote, on the view file, if you see two photos, one to the right, one to the left. The right one, where you see, is the new India. YouTube is full with, I commanded my unit in one of the challenging environment of Chinese border. We had seen them, how they work. Now they also see how we work. That transformation comes from the backing of people, the common people, the economy, the hand-holding by the government. And today, let me assure you, in my younger service like you, we used to go on patrol. We used to carry a red flag, sir, which was very, very cautious and defensive mindset, which used to narrate that this is our land. I'll not fire, you don't fire. I'll leave, you leave. And then we used to wait for this golden opportunity to happen. Once they leave, we'll leave. Today, no sort of flag is being carried. We are there, and if we are there, it is our land, and nobody can touch that land. Trust me. And that is the power of our foreign policy today, and that is the hand-holding, that is the backup which we have got today. And that is the vision of Sardar Patel. And trust me, this is the only place where his true vision is we can see it is happening. Sir, thank you so much. In short span of 15-20 minutes, I whatever I had to cover. And lastly, all of us, we can make difference after remembering him. So after 80 years of his demise, if we have to build a nation, there's no caste, there's no place, there's no area. We are all Indians first, and we should all remain Indians. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure.